Okay, I'm now showing us live. Looks like, yep, there's my lovely F8. Today we are in a different truck and we are going to France. So minimize that window there. This is our truck for today, a Volvo F816, 750 horsepower. It will just get a couple of features added to it in a minute. Hello Alex, how are you? Just about to have my cup of coffee and I'm on one of my other profiles today. And as you can see by the title, we are going to France, northern France. Mr. Crazy. Mr. Crazy! Oh, I need to change that. I have not changed that. Go back to my, was it? Because that's the wrong license plate. Right, okay, let's go to my World of Trucks profile. Well, that's not a very good answer. That's not the answer I expected of you, Alex. Why are you having a shit day? And why is my profile? It should be Y44RRR. Yar. When I'm running around with a pirate themed truck, you've got to have that license plate. Yar. So back into my profile we go. Because Laura Jane is not a Volvo FH. She is a Scania. Oh, fucking. God bloody hell. Why is here? Why is there? Why is every fucking where? No, I just forgot to change it in World of Trucks profile. It'll be changed now. I would like to have the ability to. Well, that's the wrong answer. I'd like to actually have the ability for SCS to give us customizable on-truck license plates with all the prefixes. You can just click on it and type it up in game. After all, you can do it with the in windscreen plates, so why can't we do it with the blue truck license plates? That's not bad. Right, okay, we are... Now, hopefully I will have the right license plate. There's Portsmouth, Spinnaker Towers. No, some kind of viewing tower, I think. You get paid so much to go up it. Right on the harbour front. Last time I went Portsmouth, they were building the damn thing. Ah, there we are. Y44 triple R. Right, okay. Trailer manager. Let's go to... I can't really use that one because I not got the license plate. So, we will take this one here. As you can see, cyclists and pedestrians, keep away from me here or behold about the keel. And the other one I've got, if I can find the right tab. Oh, wrong rails. No. No. Cyclists and pedestrians, keep away or meet thy maker. Well, sooner or later, I will be going back up onto 1.44. Just that I don't want to be hopping up and hopping down, hopping up, hopping down, hopping up, hopping down. Because there's always the ability that it's gonna fuck me profiles up. I just don't want. I just do not want that to happen. It's too much fucking hassle to put them right afterwards. Right, so this is my trailer. I will use this one. My trailer has been attached. I've got the farm sim rig in place. I'm liking that. I now need to set my buttons up because this particular one. Oh, how is he? That's probably why you're not having a good day. In all fairness. Ah, hang on. It's not been told. I'll say it's on here. Hopefully he's alright. I've already got a profile for multiplayer. Just that when you go up and go down, go up and go down, go up and go down, it affects all your profiles. I hope he's alright. Oh, fuck. He fell off the truck. Ouch. My dad did that a while back and he twisted his ankle. And a few years ago, I was working at a tyre place, a tyre warehouse, and I made the silly mistake of jumping down from a stack of tyres. I was about 12 foot up when I made the jump. And my knees have never been right since. I've got to do this in every bloody profile. Oh. Ooh! Ouch! Yeah, he's not going to be doing much for a while. But I hope he gets better. I really do hope he gets better. Tell him to take it easy. Mind you, when I was working on agency, I was working at Argos doing multi-drop delivery. It's snowy and icy, and I go to scramble into the back of the box. The customer is looking as I've slipped and go falling straight back down again. Like the driver was keeled over double, pissed himself with laughter. I'm like, he goes, "What are you going to do that for?" Customer didn't quite know what to do. I think that's it. Oh yeah, radio, home. Next favourite. Oh, next favourite. Previous favourite. Yeah, you will be. Here we go. I think what I'll do at some point, I'll need to copy all these across. Because I don't need those. So I've got these here. Right. Ouch! Yeah, he's got, I'd imagine every time he breathes in, it'll be a fucking agony for him now. He's doing that much damage to himself. Right. Oh, I've got them wrong way around. Bollocks! Yeah, you will be. You will be. So it's perfectly understandable. We will. I do need to keep an eye out to see how speedy TMP is getting on, because he's not in a good way. He's got pneumonia, and obviously he's already got a terminal illness anyway as speed. So he's. Yeah. Right. Okay. We are. Well, I think we're in Exeter. Yeah, we're in Exeter. Right. So let's see if we can get a job that's going to take us to France. Of course, we want to be sort of around this area. Typical. Oh yeah, Lille. That'll do. Yeah. I mean, he's not in a good way. He's already got, I think, his muscular, different muscular. I think it's MD he's got. He's like a wasting away, like, you know. And he's got pneumonia, which isn't good. I don't know. I do not know what you're gonna do. Somewhere there is the. What the fucking icon? Oh, it's there. Got it. Go make some fucking. That. If you do not put pineapple on that pizza, I will come round to your place and force feed you a cold pineapple. You have to put pineapple on that pizza. There's the boss, curled up as usual on the what's it? Right, apparently it's down there somewhere. Why does his a fucking... Just got a little bit too close to it and set the alarm off. Seriously, it's not seriously down here, is it? It fucking is. Yes, you gotta test me fucking reversing skills. You know, I'm not even sure if I can actually get round there. Got a little bit too hard, but I've not scratched that car. Actually, I need to move my seat further forwards. Because I'm seeing through the thing, so move that a bit further forward. There we are. Right. So your dad will probably be off work for a couple of months. Oh, Alex, if you're watching, can you clip this at all? Yeah, it's got to be off for at least a couple of months. And on statutory sick pay, it's not fun. Right. Although I'm not even sure if in Denmark you actually get sick pay. Well, probably in the United States you don't. Medical pay. Oh, yeah. Clip it. When you get a chance. Save the video clip and just show it your father, see what he reckons. I know he'll be fucking laughing. He called himself a bloody truck driver. He can't even get down there without... I'm making the right fucking pigs here of this. Oh right, okay, no worries. Oops. Whoops. Although, I don't actually think I hit it. I hit the collision box, not the actual tiles. Yeah, it might be easy for you when your wheel's on that side of the cab. However, it's in. So easiest. Fuck off. Right, what's it giving me? It's giving me a refrigerated cargo box from the United Arab Shipping Company. Oh, and oop, that's naughty. I'll need to get that sorted out in a bit. Which I will do that in a minute when I find my... There. There's a F7 there. I'll need to go over there and put my license plate on. Oh, piss off. Probably wouldn't get down here with a double or drawbar outfit. Keep out of the way of that baguette Volvo. Down. I think there's a visual glitch there with that fence. That's sat too high for my liking. probably why. Twat. I hate his collision wall, not the actual thing. Probably took the fucking steps off. Right, and now, trailer manager, let's put the license plate back and make sure I've got the right license plate on as well. That does help. Paint EU. There we are. She's legal now. So, let's go to France. There's my depot. I ideally place here because that's where the service yard is. Although this is actually nothing like the Exeter that I know. Well, the thing is, it doesn't really matter so much in... Okay, have fun. So why today am I going down to France? Well, one day, it was June the 6th. And as you're probably aware, those of you who have been possibly watching these streams for my content, although there's only 250 of you who actually follow me. My content is been recently called Trucking Through Time. And this event is no different because we are going towards Caen, Cherbourg, that neck of the woods. Or at least that's where the GPS will eventually route me, because it wants to route me down through towards Portsmouth and Southampton. But what we want to do is go this way. Or I mean, we could go this way from Portsmouth. Because around here, you got Juno, Sword, and Omaha beaches, all of which were very, very important in 1944, sorry. Because June the 4th, 1944 was the date that the Allies had planned to start pushing back towards Berlin. But the other thing is, to get to Berlin, you needed to get onto French soil. Now, we'd already managed to get air superiority over the Germans. Bit of an overshoot there. Oh, that's crafty. That is very crafty. We've got to go sort of this way. We've got to get over. I just realised where I've got to go. Let this guy go by. Begin to move across very carefully because I am actually kind of in the wrong lane. Why is this guy? Stop that. He can actually go right a bit further on, but he's caught by the wrong traffic lights. Promods, you need to sort that crap shizzle out. Those little cars there, they're acting to the wrong traffic lights. Right. So yeah, you needed to get back into France. Now, sure, we could drop paratroopers, but that would only drop so much. It doesn't drop you any heavy armor. And to start taking back land off the Germans, you're gonna need heavy armor. Tanks, primarily. What the fuck? It's not the best laid out bloody junction. See if I can get round here again. And to do that, you need to put them on the beach. And how on earth are you going to do this? Well, you need to basically set up a beachhead, and that's what D-Day was. It was the invasion of France. Or rather, not the invasion, but a counter invasion. Because the Germans, who we've been fighting since 1939, had already got a good beachhead. And they'd already got northern France and most of the bloody area. But we had to push them back to Berlin. So 1944, early part of 44, they started to obviously build up, and there'd been training going off for this, including a town, I think it was Tynemouth, I think it was. Tynem, I think, rings a bell. And he'd been using that town, this particular village. It's near Southampton. The War Department obviously wrote to the landowner and goes, right, we need this village. So everybody was turfed out of this village. Basically, they were given a month to leave. It was the ultimate Section 21 eviction notice. So, having evicted everybody from this town, they then start, the Allies, the Americans, and the British Army had started to train on how to deal with this, and also as well on the beaches. Practice raids on our own beaches, so practice the techniques needed to get on to a foreign beach. And obviously June the 6th the time was right. So basically all started to amass, and there's various landing craft and the likes went across the English Channel to make the raid. There were several beaches involved. We got 2, I think the Americans have got 2. And this particular raid wasn't easy. I mean, how on earth do you get a tank ashore? I mean, obviously the landing craft gets hit. And you're losing your tanks. Well, we found this out in the Falkland War Islands when we lost Atlantic Conveyor. We took a load of helicopters and a load of Harriers and ammunition down to the bottom. Well, how on earth do you get tanks ashore? Well, you can always drive the landing craft up to the shore, drop the ramp, and off you go. But you're under heavy enemy fire. So one of the things that they came up with is they increased the height of the tank with canvas sights. Zip them up, put the gun inside them, zip these things up, and drive the tank into the ocean. Some worked. Some went straight down. But the vast majority of the tanks actually got ashore. Come ashore and then drop the skirts, and straight away they're into combat. So you've now got your troops and your heavy armour ashore. And from there you go, basically you start pushing inland. But the idea was to push quickly. Now, because obviously the French have been under the control of the Germans, you've obviously got the French resistance. Unlike the liberation of Ukraine right now, we had, back then, we had the hearts and minds of the people we were actually trying to liberate. Whereas, come back to the modern thing, this so-called liberation of Ukraine, Russia ain't got the hearts and minds of the people it's trying to liberate. That's half the battle. You win the hearts and minds of the population, you stand a damn good chance of winning the bloody war. Needless to say, when we came ashore, we were actually welcomed. With open arms, which is good. And from there, once we got ashore, I mean, yeah, there were various battles going off. Some of the units didn't get very far off the beach, and they needed to be outflanked by the Germans needed to be outflanked by the Allies to allow the Allies on those beaches to actually get ahead, because quite simply the terrain was too steep, and the Germans had got the Allies pretty much penned in. When a attacking force is penned in, they're not going to make much progress. They are going to get slaughtered. And a few groups did get slaughtered by the Germans. brakes. I hate them. Yeah, but once they got ashore, the next primary target was obviously was Paris. Yeah, that, by the time the end, I think it was the end of 1944, I think we pretty much pushed our way through France towards the German border. Come on, lights, change. So primarily the aim of this trip that I'm on now is to see if, as we go down here, as we come out sort of this way, if promods have actually modelled various things from D-Day. They might have done, they might not have done. Because I know that in certain areas of Eastern Europe map SCS content, they have modelled the various war memorials to the Red Army. So let's just have a look at what there is as we head towards Lille. I mean, the thing is, we could have made life a bit easier and gone straight to Calais. It's a shorter sea crossing. The only trouble is the Germans had a very powerful railgun. And I don't mean like in railgun as in the like Warhammer, where basically it's an electromagnetic charge to fire off the round. No, the entire gun was on rails. A huge piece of naval artillery mounted on a very big train carriage. And this particular thing could fire a shot. It could hit Dover. It was, however, very vulnerable. Obviously, once we got the, going back to D-Day beaches, once we got ashore, the heavy artillery and the heavy armour could then support the Allies. Now, the tank we chose for this was the M4 Sherman. It was small, it was light, it needed large pumps in it to pump the water out because the thing leaked like a sieve. And for most of the short trip across the water from the landing craft to the actual beachhead, the tank hull was mostly underwater, or rather below the surface. And what was keeping it afloat was the canvas basically a canvas wall. This is not easy getting through here. I bet this is my weight scale. Out of order. Whoever designed this ferry didn't design it well. Made a bit of a challenging layout. Because don't want to hit him with the trailer. There we are. I'm in. Right, we have got Bilbao, Santander, they're in Spain, and we want Roscoff, which is there. Okay, I've now arrived in France. We're in Port de Roscoff. Leaving the ferry. Job's going to be late, but I don't care. It's going to be about 8 hours late, this load is. I ain't gonna make that much time back, so this one may not make me any money. However, I mean, I've got 200,000 left. On this profile isn't enough to buy a fridge van, so perhaps in hindsight I probably should have gone via Cali. This is the I'm taking kind of the long way around. plenty of fuel as well, that's a good thing, so we're okay for fuel. These Sherman tanks, they were known officially as DD, duplex drive. And at the back of the tank, they had basically as a set of Z drives or Zulu drives, where power was taken from the track's transmission system. So the drive for the right track drove the propeller on the right hand side of the tank, and the drive for the left hand side track drove the propeller on the left hand side of the tank. And they could be swung up or swung down, so once you're actually, whilst you're on landing craft, you are swung up pointing into the air. You see, so that when the tank drops into the ocean, it quite simply didn't snag the ground. Once it's actually in the water, you lower the duplex propellers, and off you go. And they weren't very fast. Well, this is just one of many funnies, as you were called, that were built by the British Army. Like, one of the things as well, so obviously, you know, for D-Day you got this massive military build-up. How do you disguise it? Well, you got, around that area you've got various tunnels, so all the trains that were being used for the build-up, all the tanks and stuff, stick them in the tunnel. Use tunnels as sidings. But then you need to tell the Germans that you're going to be making a raid somewhere else. So in another area of the country, wooden tanks in the shape of Shermans, Churchills, Valentines, etc., Matildas and the likes, were built. And all these were quite simply just like wooden mock-ups of tanks. Couldn't move anywhere, couldn't do anything, they just sat there. Of course, the German Dorniers flying overhead sealed his build-up, and would draw a conclusion that they are building up to attack a beach somewhere else. And not only that, you had a similar sort of thing done in with regards to the invasion of Italy, where a dead body was used with fake invasion plans. Now, I don't think they used the same tactic for D-Day that they used on Operation Mincemeat. Yeah, I know. What a name. Pretty apt, really, because mincemeat is obviously made by dead bodies, and they obviously want a suitably half-decayed body to strap some, put some fake identity papers in a briefcase and what have you, to chuck into the ocean off the Spanish coast. And yeah, that worked. Now, I think they used a different deception pack for D-Day, making it look like they're going to be attacking a different beach in France. So what that did is it made the Germans concentrate their resources on defending another part of France, an area of France about 200 miles away. A bit further around the coast on the Bay of Biscay. And this also prompted the Germans to put more men and more fortifications on that part of France, well away from the landing sites of northern France. Had they not done this, D-Day could have turned out very, very differently. So whilst we are here, we are still here, so we want to go up there. This is the what's it, beach? I think there's actually a sign for one of the beaches in D-Day. And obviously once you've got this beachhead laid, you then need to make major preparations for other things to come ashore. And the beaches that they use, they've been watching for quite a while, so they knew if they were mined or not. But there's other beaches on the coast which were heavily mined. Both with sea mines just offshore to obviously blow the landing craft up if you're trying to get closer, and obviously landmines. Even now in some of the woods around the Maginot Line in eastern France, near the German border, you can still actually find grenades. I don't think there's any mines there, but there was them many sold during the Second World War, it's hard to know. Well, I think by now you should have got them all. One of the things that they had on the beaches to deal with mines, again this is another sort of funny, it's called the flail. And again it was based on, I think it was also based on a Sherman tank, although it did appear on things like the Churchill as well. And you take the standard tank hull with the gun, and you had two arms extending forwards from the hull of the tank with a big rotating drum in front. And on this rotating drum there were chains of various lengths, which what they did, they quite simply flailed around. When they struck a mine, do set the mine off, but because obviously there's a chain, I mean the explosion going off, I mean the chain's quite flexible, it'll just move out of the way and carry on flailing. I mean, if you hit a big enough mine, I think it'll probably actually eventually would take the that particular chain out. But 7 foot of chain with a weight on the end is a lot cheaper to replace than a tank. Not to mention its crew. I mean, if a tank drives over an anti-tank mine, two things, well, a number of things are going to happen. One, the track gets blown off. That's your best case scenario. Blows your track off, damages your suspension. Your next option is it goes off and it sets with the percussion wave, it sets off the ammunition inside the tank. And if that happened, anybody who's inside that tank, well, they won't be getting out of it. And there's also the other possibility that even though it may not set the ammunition off, if it's a big enough anti-tank weapon, or for that matter a light enough tank, it flips a tank on its roof. Which, okay, the driver of the tank at that point may be able to get out, but the people inside the turret, how are they going to get out when there's a 40-ton tank upside down lying on the hatches? They ain't getting out of that tank. I mean, coming forwards, I mean, you've probably seen on the news right now various T-72 tanks that catch fire because they've been hit, and then you see the turret go flying off. Well, modern ammunition is certainly a little bit more stable and less susceptible to cook-off, compared to World War II ammunition. The chemistry is a lot different. But that would happen on a regular basis on World War II tanks. Because a modern tank, you have got, the poor guy who has to load it, puts a charge in, or puts a round in, and then he'll put several bags of cordite in behind it, lock the breech, and then the guy firing the tank takes over, pulls the trigger, and the entire lot goes out the barrel. Well, I think older tanks, basically what you had was a giant bullet, which you have the warhead at the front and then a brass cartridge, which is great if you've got an autoloader, which is what the Russian tanks have got, but it also means that your ammunition is likely to cook off and basically send the warhead out of the cartridge inside the ammunition casing. Well, when that happens, all the other rounds go off and the turret leaves the tank, which is happening quite a lot to the Russian tanks in Ukraine. Well, that was a very big risk in the Second World War with our tanks and also the German ones as well. Because the idea of cellular ammunition storage system, I don't think been invented. Now, if any of you ever play, I think it's BattleTech, where you've got big walkabout mechs walking around, and you use dice to obviously roll the dice, yeah, you've hit, yeah, roll your damage. Well, they have something called a case, which is, I think it's cellular ammunition storage equipment. And the idea of case is if your ammunition explodes because you're taking a direct hit, it doesn't take the tank out because the ammunition case explodes on the outside of the tank. Case was one of the developments that came out through the Second World War afterwards. Welcome into my channel. As I drive now a rather late delivery to Lille, going across northern France. We are basically running along the coast of the D-Day beaches. We might have to go back here in daylight to actually see what happens. I'm doing this particular run because obviously it's D-Day on Monday. Now, the other means that they had of delivery of tanks to the battlefield is large, heavy transport gliders. And these particular gliders only actually had a, they were made and they were only ever flew once. Because once they land in France and the likes, having been cut loose from the Halifax tow plane or short Sterling tow plane, because I don't think in many cases the DC-3, yes, it towed gliders, but they were mainly the troop delivery gliders. They weren't capable of towing a glider with a tank on board. Tanks, even a Sherman, for quite a sizable load for a DC-3. Generally speaking, you've got no way to get them back because they never really landed on a runway. A lot of the time they would land in the farmer's field. I mean, the Germans had one idea, the ME 3, I think it's called the 323 or Gigant, the Messerschmitt Gigantic, which was a very big, slow, lumbering beast. That was originally a glider pulled by a, I think it was pulled by a Heinkel HE-111Z, or Zweiling, I think is the more correct pronunciation. What it was you take a Heinkel HE-111 and you take another Heinkel HE-111. You remove the port wing off one, the starboard wing off the other, and you put a bridging wing between the two with 3 engines on them. So what you had was basically 2 fuselages side by side, 2 sets of controls, basically 2 of everything. Zwei being German for 2. So you can basically, it was a twin Heinkel HE-111. But this was a very vulnerable setup for the Germans. So the idea was then that they came up with, well, why not give this glider engines? That would give the Messerschmitt Gigant a little bit of range. And the ability to operate relatively autonomously. Although it was still a very, very vulnerable aircraft. And if you've not got air superiority, it's gonna get shot down. And in 1944 onwards, the Germans were very much on the back foot, being driven from both Poland, Czechoslovakia towards Berlin from the by the Russians in the east, and then from June 1944 from France being pushed back from the west towards Berlin by the Americans, Canadians, Australians and British and other Commonwealth forces. Now you've got, at this point, you've only got a year left of the war in Europe, because World War II ended on Tuesday the 8th of May 1945 in Europe and went on till just after August, I think it was, back end of August, in the Pacific Theatre, when the Americans dropped Little Boy and Fat Man on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That brought a very, very swift end to the war. The Japanese obviously thought that the Americans had a third bomb, which I don't think they did. I might be wrong, but I don't think they actually had the third weapon. But it was enough to make them think, whoa, we need to end this. Well, after about a few months, obviously, once that beachhead in, going back to D-Day, once the beachhead had been established, your supply line is going to get longer and longer and longer. And for a assault to be effective, you need good military logistics. Well, once it got the port of Caen secure, because Caen was just around the coast from where the D-Day landings were made, but it wasn't the primary objective because obviously it was heavily fortified by the Germans. You're not going to take it easily, not with a direct assault. So you land your troops around the corner, and you do a flanking maneuver, and you take it from behind. Because all your defences are pointing out to sea. Take it from behind. I know that sounds very wrong, but you know, you take them out that, you're going to get in, you know, the weaker side. You're attacking the underbelly of his defences, which also means that you're more likely to leave the vital critical infrastructure that you need to land heavy equipment intact. Makes life a bit easier. Once that was done, you can then start pushing east from your main location at Caen and Cherbourg. And to do this, the Americans brought up something called the Red Bull Express. That's what they called it. And it was basically, it was a merry-go-round. Trucks carrying ammunition, parts and the likes, jeeps. Usually, mostly police and halves, and some had trailers, some did not. And they just simply followed the marker sign that was made of a Red Bull. That's how it got its name, the Red Bull Express, because you're just following those markers. And gradually, as you move further on, you take airfields, you can then start flying your stuff into various airfields in northern France. And as you take out airfields, you also then remove your enemy's ability to fly fighter planes from there, because France had been used quite extensively, particularly northern France, by the Germans to launch raiding nuisance raids with, usually with Focke-Wulf 190s, because they were relatively quick compared to the ME-109. Sorry, BF-109, Bravo Foxtrot. Why Messerschmitt called the 109 the BF-109 as opposed to the ME-109, I don't know. But that's what it was a BF-109. Bollocks. That's taking me up towards Pellowell. Oh dear. Spin. And what these nuisance raids were, it was quite simply one aircraft with a single bomb, flying low to get under our primitive radar that we had back then. Drop the bomb and get back out. Because you're flying from France, you had limited fuel resources. You didn't want to spend a large amount of time getting into a furball with Spitfires, Hurricanes, Tempests, Typhoons, Mosquitoes and the likes. Because you get to a furball with a home defence aircraft, you've probably got half an hour worth of fuel on station. They've got as much fuel as they need because they've only got to go a few miles back to their airfield. You've got to fly back across the English Channel, and probably 50-60 miles back into France at least. So you're on your edges of your endurance of that aircraft. But as you take out the Allies took over these airfields, made it very difficult for the Germans to use that because they've lost that. They've got to relocate their assets. Unfortunately, they need to defend one thing: Berlin. So their assets are being pushed further and further and further back towards Berlin. Not only that, regular bomber raids by the Allies during the daytime with B-17s and B-24 liberators from the United States Army Air Force, and also then from the Hours of Darkness by Halifax bombers, Lancaster bombers, short Sterling heavy bombers, which, okay, they weren't very accurate, but so we use a lot of carpet bombing at night time. So it was the most accurate way to do things. You had round-the-clock bombing of military targets. Usually air munitions works, railway works, aircraft works, aircraft manufacturing plants, and also infrastructure such as airfields. Deny your ability, deny the enemy's ability to take off and fly. Because helicopters and Harriers didn't exist in 1945. Certainly not in the sense that we know today. You had auto gyros, but most of those were carried aloft by the Kriegsmarine. But couldn't really do a great deal. They weren't exactly heavily armed or heavily armoured. Hello. Back in 1945, with your aircraft being fixed wing, they needed a runway to get airborne, and a kilometre and a half of runway that was used to get a Heinkel HE-111 or a Focke-Wulf 190 or BF-109 airborne was, you put a couple of bomb craters halfway down it, made it very difficult for the Germans to take off. So that kind of denied air superiority. I mean, sure, a fighter plane can take off an autobahn. Hitler made many autobahns. Excuse me, don't you freeze like that. And one of the things that the autobahns were useful for, great airstrips. But then you start using your autobahns as airstrips that can reduce your ability to use them for a resupply. Yeah, it's late. I will not be making 20 grand from this job. Now, I think the Russians had a slightly different tactic of just flatten everything. But eventually, they did push back to Berlin. And Berlin was eventually, as you are probably well aware, divided up into 4 zones. But unfortunately, Berlin was very much in the eastern half of Germany. So half of the city was walled off from the rest of the country. Because if you're in East Berlin, it was quite easier for you to get to Leipzig and various other places. If you're in West Berlin, you've got to go through a dedicated corridor to get out. Because obviously the Russians have built a fence, or later on brick concrete wall around you. You were surrounded. Which is why the capital of West Germany was relocated to Bonn. Which I'm not sure if Bonn. Yeah, it's there. Just north of Koblenz. Obviously, East Berlin was sort of this area. Dresden and the likes of that was in East Berlin, so East Germany. You got Austria there, and basically it kind of went up sort of there. Austria was underneath, and also Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia there was underneath East Berlin. And I think if you go now to northern France, walk that beach, when you walk the beach from Calais all the way round to Cherbourg and down to La Rochelle, you will most likely find Mulberry Harbour's sections just sitting on the beach, quietly rotting away. Well, some of the stuff that we took ashore, the ships couldn't get close enough to the beach, and the landing craft was too small. So what they did, they built a temporary harbour, Mulberry Harbour, to act as a staging point. So your equipment was loaded off ship and then driven along the top of these mulberry harbours onto the beach, and then up onto the road and into the French road network. And it also, as well, it marks a turning point in within the war, because once obviously we'd established a beachhead and the likes, some of our forces, not only did we start to move towards the east, we'd also then started to push to the southwest. With the aim of going towards La Rochelle. La Rochelle in the Second World War was very important because it was the home of the Atlantic Fleet of the Kriegsmarine. Now, if any of you have ever seen Das Boot by Wolfgang Petersen, that follows the exploit of a German U-boat on one of his patrols. It went from La Rochelle. Sorry, girl. Goes out, does his patrol, comes back, and unfortunately, it got bounced by the Allies. It was actually scripted being very lucky to get to La Rochelle because it went into the Mediterranean, and out of all the submarines at Karl Dönitz sent into the Mediterranean, past the Gibraltar, which was heavily defended in the Second World War, not a single one made it back. Every one that went into the Mediterranean to support the Italian campaign and the North African campaign got sunk. Every single one. Some were sunk by British mines that we'd laid to prevent enemy submarines from getting there. Others were sunk by surface vessels. Yeah, it cost me money. Yeah, only made £1,000. So I actually made money on this job. So Le Mans, where we'll go, that takes us to a flat rack. Linz, Austria, Bern, Switzerland, Hungary, Budapest. Yeah, we'll take these to Tremeri. We'll go to Le Mans. Yeah, here we are. This is our load for today, for this trip. It's a flat rack for carrying various equipment, logs, anything that can't be put inside a container that you want on a container rather than in it. So because it weighs, how heavy is this? Tare weight 4 tons. Oh yeah, 5 tons, 5.9 tons. We can lift the axles up on this, we don't need them on the ground. Might actually leave the trailer axles down. So it goes down here. Now, down here, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's down here. I'm almost certain that's it there. So that's where we're going to go now. We will need fuel on this trip because we're now down to just over half a tank. We've got 9 hours on this trip. It'll take us 7 hours to get there. as satisfying as V8, but it's a nice sound. One of the things I'm going to be going past is a monument. A monument to, basically it's a Second World War monument. And I think I've got the right place. It's in a place called Vermoutier. Too many gears. That will not do the gearbox any good. Short blips like that into the red line probably won't do again because the engine's just been spun, it's not actually under any load. Wouldn't like to do it on a regular basis though. Now, I don't claim to know a great deal about the tank at Vermoutier. All I know is it's a Tiger. Now, I've actually been to the Bovington Tank Museum, Bovington, England. About 4.5 hours from where I live. And there is actually a Tiger there, Tiger 131. And it's tiny. I've just been overtaken by a 2CV. What? The kick of it! Cheeky. Been overtaken by it. Tell you, for a 2CV, it's doing some bloody good speed as well. Would like to crash it. Which, not much structure to them things. So when I get to Vermoutier, I will pull up the wiki page. I'm going to have a look at it. Now, it would actually be nice with SCS if you can actually, because I did actually mention this to him, weren't actually, was it when they were at Peterborough, they weren't actually that receptive on the idea. But to put some information about what it is that you'll buy. You know, make this game not only as a driving simulator, but mildly educational as well. Even if it's just taking some information from like Wikipedia or something like that. Haha! That's... No. I don't think that's fuel. Yep, that's fuel. That's fuel. No, with this tag axle raised, the truck is very, very twitchy. Yep. The boss is still asleep. So it blends in well, that carpet there. Yeah, there appears to be missing texture off one of the buttons there for the transmission lock. I mean, is it actually? Yes, it is animated. However, whilst we are here, it's now 10 o'clock. I started stream. Well, how long have I been going for? Been going long enough to get from Exeter to Lille via Portsmouth. So how long have I been going for? I've been going for 1 hour 45 minutes. Well, it pretty much started at 8 o'clock. Right, as usual, my streams are powered by coffee. This is brought to you by Bob Camden Coffee. So, pause the game for a moment or two, and I will be back in a moment whilst I go get myself a cup of coffee. Actually, that's just...
of those very extreme parties. I wonder...
I need to turn my music player on, and let's go for... Gently merge for country. Rising Hero, where I really should have had that at the start of the bloody video. Help, Jay. You're a bit late. I've been going for nearly 2 hours. Right, okay, let's see if I can set my webcam up and see what it's pointing at me. It's pointing directly at my Logitech wheel, that's no good. Can't I put it there? Can't I put it there? That's my Logitech Farm Simly thingy. Could do it a mounting point or something. I ain't got it. So it'll have to sit like that. Do I really need the webcam up? What? You only just got the notice? Okay. Normally I go live at about 8 o'clock ish on a Saturday. Well, I used to do Friday night streams, but you know. But yeah, this is a bit unusual because obviously this is a Friday, but this is like my old stream, so you've not really missed much anyway, like, you know, so. Dear. I don't know what to do with that. I want a trailer for that. Little scanny 00 scale scanning highline. Unfortunately, I mean, I've got this. Oxford Diecast, who made this, made the trailer too bloody tall. I mean, it's about 5.5 meters tall because it's up to this point here on the roof deflector is about 3.8 meters. But if I do get a trailer, it's got to be at the right bloody height. I mean, I've got sat on top of there as well. That's expensive. Those 2 units there. There's probably about 150 quid there. And obviously you've got Laura Jane. Yeah, just sat there gathering dust. I want some logs for that. So if I put that. How's that? Gives me a view there, gives me the steering wheel there. It doesn't really give you a good view of me, but unfortunately I need a second webcam for that. And I've only got the one. So you can have it looking at me, my ugly mug, or you can have it looking at the controls. Because I don't really want it all the way up there, it's too far away. Well, I could put it there, I suppose. Yeah, my bedroom needs the bed needs a bit of a tidy up actually. So switch it there. Well, in fact, I can do that now. I do put the what's it right? Because everything that sits on like not in use when I'm sat on this table just gets dumped on the bed. Ah, that's better. Okay, yeah. I got mine from, I think I got this one from BT World. What I might do actually is get a, there we are. The thing is, it doesn't really show, I could do a second one to show me keys and buttons there. Yeah, so we got that there, all that there. There we are. So it's also quite muggy as well this evening. Certain places have threatened thunderstorms in certain parts of the country, but you know, we'll see how we go. Yeah, it's a pretty good little cam actually. Unfortunately, I've got no way of actually filming it. It's designed. It's got like a little clip thing that, you know, like a little clip, and it just sits over there, kind of like that, with the camera on. My truck's about to take a suicide dive, which is not good. The thing is, because I kept moving it around, it's not. I mean, I could not put it up the top here actually, where it was last time. It'll give you a full view, and yeah, there's a coffee. So yeah, that's what I got, and I've just got myself today, thanks to these guys, Bob Nation. Somebody brought an album by a group called Fawn. Now, unfortunately, I can't actually play their music, but if you order it off Amazon, there's two versions of this. One with the deluxe copybook, and the other one is like this. You got the deluxe version, which is this one here, and the more standard version of the album. Songs are the same. You get audio CD in there, and obviously a book with all the artwork in, which also as well gives you the lyrics and stuff about the song as well. It's not as much as you think. And obviously I also brought those. I mean, they came the other day. I've downloaded them the other day onto my computer, so I can listen to them as MP3s. I do plan on putting them on a stick, so I can listen to them in my truck when I'm at work. So, without further ado, let's get driving, shall we? We are going to Vermoutier right now, and then we're going to head down towards Le Mans. And of course, got the all-important cup of coffee. The music in the background is by AKM Music. It's copyright free, it's designed for streaming. Although a couple of their songs do occasionally get picked up by the YouTube algorithms. Folk music. They're on YouTube. You've actually got their own YouTube channel. It's sort of like you take a bit of rock music, a bit of folk music, a bit sort of ye old world cross a bit of Blackmore's Night with Dead Can Dance with heavy metal music, and that's pretty much what it is. Now, I like Dead Can. Alarm's going off. Now that we're moving again, we can turn the track off and get going. Yeah, so take sort of metal music, Dead Can Dance, and Blackmore's Night. It's like medieval heavy metal. Actually, I'll put the tag axle down, make the truck a little bit more stable. Are we on schedule? Yeah, we're on schedule. We're on the right way to go because we're going down here. And then I'll be going down towards Le Mans. A track, I think, Le Mans. I think it's around here somewhere. But unfortunately, because obviously copyright and stuff, I can't actually play their music. I would love to. I can't. Oh yeah, it's worth it. Pagan's a damn good album. I mean, other music I've got is Lorna McKenna, Jodie Messina, Riverdance CD, Little River Band, Achillea, which is sort of like ambient type stuff, Dune soundtrack. Got the Eurovision 2022 album. I know. Somebody do me a favour. I've yet to listen to that actually. I did actually watch the show live, but I didn't actually get to listen to the album. Mostly because of a couple of the entries. Our song was fucking tight. It was, although the judges liked it, so that's not a bad thing. Yeah, I've got some myself for that royalty-free stuff. Some of it actually isn't that bad. Some of it is bloody awful, but some of it's not too bad. AKM's is expensive, they're about £34 a CD. But I'd rather pay £34 to a record label and have the ability to play music and not have a record label come chasing at me because we demand copyright. This is from the YouTube library. I'll have to visit your channel. Because I have had before where I've not had, so far I've never had a takedown notice, but I've had like claims, copyright claims. I mean, okay, I mean a couple of music videos I've got are using third-party music, but wait, it's got demonetized. The thing is though, everybody's taste is different. I mean, you play music primarily to suit yourself, you know, primarily. That's what I do. Although I will take some music that is, you know, if I was playing rock music, I don't think I'd probably get much content, you know, much likes. Whereas if I play sort of country and western music on an American trucking video, it would probably go quite well actually. Although that's probably being a little bit stereotypical. Want something with a nice flowing, if you're playing a racing game, you want something with a nice flowing beat. But trucking videos, you want something with what I will call the 55-mile-an-hour tempo. Moderately upbeat, easy listening, that isn't going to get you into any trouble with any record labels. But if you do Truckers Multiplayer and you have to submit a report evidence video, be careful as to what music you're listening to. If you can set up your OBS as to ignore any music feed, do it. Because your evidence video might be perfectly valid but blocked in some countries because of the music content on it. WMG are bad for that. Your country can be, your music can be blocked in some countries by WMG because it's got their stuff on. That's always worth it. That's always a damn good idea. I, however, when it comes to music, not that good when it comes to music. I'm not very good at composing music. I've got about as good ear for a tune as a dead donkey. Spin me round. Oh, cool. Quite like this one. Quite a wide taste in music content. You know, because probably I like to simply just put it on the back and just let it play. Which, if I was playing on Twitch, for example, I wouldn't have any issues either with music content. Because the stuff I'm actually listening to now is actually licensed. Certainly get stuff out of the library. I'm actually going to arrive at the Bermudian tank. I won't have that much time to fly past it because I'm losing time. So what we'll do, we'll go past the Bermudian tank, then come back and catch it going the other way. That's one of the reasons as well why I'm always a little bit nervous. But when I go to truck shows, filming there, because you can pretty much guarantee, I mean, you might be filming an airbrush bloody truck, or an old Magnus Deutz, for example. Hold the steering way too quick on that corner. That's the trouble with this, you've got no sensation of how fast you actually go. But yeah, so you start filming the water on this truck and somebody about 2 or 3 trucks down will turn on their stereo sim and start blasting out music. Baby Shark, for example. Chart dance music. You'll get picked up on that by YouTube's algorithm and potentially could get a copyright strike. But you've got no control over that because it's an outdoor event. YouTube's algorithm doesn't bloody know that. Yeah, I'm not much for rap. Oh, Grateful Dead and Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa's fucking hilarious. If the sky actually starts to arc up, you know, I gotta put the webcam facing outside the window. Did that once. Got a massive thunderstorm overhead. It must have been raging for about 8 hours. It was over our house for about 6 hours. And it wasn't like flash, pause, rumble. No, it was flash, rumble, flash, rumble, flash, rumble, flash, rumble, flash, rumble. Flash, 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 rumble, rumble, rumble. It was a proper storm. Yeah, I'm on the right road for from Bermudian. Yep, just around here there's a tank. You know, why SCS can't on the, oh, pardon me, you know, can't put like an information board, say there, about this. And when I first saw this tank, I thought, it's got to be too small. Having seen Tiger 131 at Bovington Tank Museum, it's about the right size. It's a pretty accurate portrayal of a Tiger tank. I'll say the poor driver ain't got much to much to look through. Yeah. Bit of wheel spin there. Six by twos in the wet, don't you know? There's wheel spin. Mind you, this has got 750 horses, so it is got a wheel spin. Now we've got 82 kilometres on this run left, so we're not doing too bad. So I wonder what you actually want this flat deck for. Who actually wants it? Well, strange enough, I was going up the motorway the other day, coming back from Birmingham. One of the things I saw was a Maersk container in the rainbow colours. Not usual Maersk grey, it was like literally like a rainbow band. Different, I'll grant you. Certainly striking. In a similar sort of vein as One's pink livery. Now, One, Ocean Network Express. Very clever naming there. One Ocean Network Express. turn off for level. Yep. Just on the village, outskirts of the town. So, the question is, where do I go to next from here? I want to try and keep it in France. I might see if I can get a job down to La Rochelle. Or somewhere kind of that way. I don't know yet. See how we go. See how we go and see what we get, shall we? Hopefully there'll be something kind of going that way. Might be a good dealership. We might one day get the S-Way. Although having sat inside an S-Way, I was not overly impressed. Too much like the highway, full of plastic. Feels cheap. Mind you, having said that, the Volvo feels like it's come. The interior is designed by IKEA. So let's see what we can do. It is going to BHV. see where it wants me. It wants me there. Blindside it, I think. Bugger me! Almost first try. I'll take that. It's a little messy, it's not perfect, but it took it, so I'll take it. Right, Bourget is down there. Ah, La Rochelle. It's the same bloody box. It's the same fucking load. Yeah, sorry. We've just realised we've sent you to the wrong place. Not just is it a flat rack container, it's the same flat rack. So it's taking us now down to Baptiste, La Rochelle. And down here are the submarine pens. Now I've got two ways I can go. Kind of that way, or we can go that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right, 4 hours. It's 5 hours 12 to go that way. 5 hours. Yeah, I'll go this way. Adds an hour to the trip, but there's less toll booths. We've got 11 hours to do the run anyway, so. Typical dispatch, send me the wrong bloody way. I just hate it when you do that. Wasting bloody diesel fuel. As well. Still bloody auto mode. I need to be in manual mode to start flicking around gears like that. So, La Rochelle. that along with, I think it was Saint-Nazaire in France, which I'm not sure if Saint-Nazaire is in the game. I don't think it is. No, it doesn't look like it is. I'm not actually sure where Saint-Nazaire actually is, but it was one of the bases of the Kriegsmarine Atlantic Fleet. Why base them in France? Keeps them away from the Royal Navy. Means that you haven't got to sail the long way round the top of the United Kingdom, using up precious diesel fuel to get into the Atlantic. And also as well, it keeps you away from the English Channel, straight to Dover. Because one thing about the Royal Navy is that strip of water was, well, pretty heavily defended. Because your aircraft like the Bristol Beaufighter, the Mosquito, and Short Sunderland, they only were having to fly a short distance to the patrol area. In the case of Short Sunderland, less than 50 miles. Yeah, in the case of the Bristol Beaufighter, not that far, probably on one of the airfields near to Dover. Whereas you put it in La Rochelle, like the Germans had trying to attack us with the Battle of Britain, you're using a large amount of fuel to get to your patrol zone. So by putting them into La Rochelle on the Atlantic coast of France, which you occupy, remember it's the Second World War, it means that the RAF have not got a great deal of time on station. They can't loiter. You've got to go out, do the hit, get back. So it pretty much put it out of range of the likes of the Beaufighter and the Mosquito. Certainly put it out of range of the likes of the Spitfire. Because they could only defend the bomber stream so far before they had to turn back. And that would leave for most of the flight Lancasters and the likes unescorted, which is why we switched to from daylight raids to nighttime raids. La Rochelle was also quite heavily defended, so you put a hole in your fuel tank and you're not going to get back. Because all your petrol that you're using to feed your Rolls-Royce Merlins is now pissing out over the Atlantic Ocean. And last time I knew, Mosquitoes and Bristol Beaufights, Bristol Blenheims, land-based aircraft, didn't do too well when they landed on water. And then what you do as well to further keep the RAF away is you put Focke-Wulf 190 and BF 110s, so ME 110s and BF 109s in the area to make life a little bit difficult for the RAF. because they don't want to get in, they didn't want to get into a verbal, you know, fighting you guys, you know, fighting the Germans, because that's going to eat up fuel. So what they would do to attack the U-boats is attack them out at sea with your Sunderlands, Catalinas and the Royal Navy. And the Royal Navy did a damn good job at dealing with the U-boat menace. Can I get past this, whatever it is? It's a Scania. Yeah, I think I can get past it. $90Ks over 80K says yes, I can overtake. Now I don't know where I'm going to go tomorrow. Because obviously tomorrow's my Saturday. There will be a stream on Saturdays. Though I have no idea where my plan is to go. I'm only streaming today because obviously it's bank holiday. It's Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Although it does make me wonder, you know, the next one, the next major one, which is on the year for 80, oak. Gold, silver, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Oak? Really? So you got like relatively common metal, relatively precious, semi-precious metal, very precious metal, really precious metal, wood. Where's the logic in that? Can somebody tell me? I mean, next tomorrow night could be Europe, could be an ATS. I don't know yet. I have brought the new trailer DLC, which I actually want to try something. I'm going to go to my route directory, find it, and put it in my local mod folder. See if it works. I mean, okay, I won't be able to have all my Susie leads, but it might work. But worth a try. It'll be interesting to find out if it works or not. So after all, I own the game I own both games, so if I can get DLC to work in one game to another game, but keep it private. I'm probably getting loads for it, I don't know. Well, we are now 212 away from our destination. Picked up signs for Larry Shop, which is a good thing. Overtake this caravan. Would be nice if we could see, if we were to see, like, you know, things like the caravans, license plates from other countries. Not so much on the private cars, but on the trucks and the caravans. You know, like you're down in south of France, you see like an English car and caravan, or a Spanish truck in France, because you don't normally get that. But at the end of the day, I mean, when I was in South Carolina, I saw plates. I was in a car park, shopping mall. It was like plates from like New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, Washington. You know, not just South Carolina. And sure enough, I mean, obviously when I was in Holland in 2004, I was in Amsterdam. I saw cars like BMWs with German plates on them and Spanish plates. People do travel, but the game will only spawn German plates in Germany, French plates in France. Yeah, whereas here's me in an English registered truck driving through France, and I'm not the only English trucker in France. Steers a little bit too soft. Sending us off to this junction here. We're not going to take this junction. We're going to take the long way round. Oh, I already am actually. I've already gone down past it, so I'm actually going the right way. We now turn north and we go to the last toll booth here. And this will take us now up to La Rochelle. just like I was driving through around Cherbourg to around that area of town, it's in the dark. Just as I want to go past the submarine pens. It's, what time are we on? What time was it? There's a fucking clock in this truck. I think it's actually hidden by the wheel. Yeah, it is. Right, oh yeah, one but I appear to have missed off on this is my map display mode. There we are. So I've got scroll to my display and now scroll to my map. And anything that needs to be reset, I can do. Push of a button. Although at the moment I can't afford to buy a new trailer. I think this is a one truck profile at the moment. Truck manager. No, it's a 3 truck profile. Got the RGL Scania, which is here. And then I've got the other Volvo, which is here. Although this one's still a nice landing plates. I don't know why. Oh, the original one for the profile. Oh, that's why it's based on Rallye Fyodor. Now, it could be tomorrow. I might do ATS. And that'll be, if I do ATS, it'll be on TMP. But we've now got 45 kilometers on this trip remaining. That little circle appearing on the GPS is my drop point. Just coming off the auto route for the last time. I think I went down a few too many gears there. This is it. Right, where does it want me? That's sort of over there. A bit awkward place to get into. I'll just drive around there. The easy slot, I think. Why Batiste would need fridge fans, I don't know. Not quite lined up. That'll do for tonight. Thank you for travelling along with me as we drove through time. Talked about World War II, various other things, and how they relate to nowadays. And tomorrow will be, again, I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing Euro Truck or American Truck. I think it might be American Truck I'll do on multiplayer. So, for now, until then, take care, be safe, be well, and just quite simply look after yourself. For that is, it's not quite 3 hours, but yep, always do, JT. In fact, if I've not subbed to you, I'll chuck a sub in a